feel that?
No, I can't feel anything.
Kartal Kaya, a mountain ski resort in northwest Turkey.
We had boots that you laced up.
US Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Mike Couillard is taking a few hours off to go skiing with his two sons.
I hope we have a lot of snowball fights.
Mark is 12 years old.
Don't hit me in the head.
Matthew is 10.
By American standards, Kartal Kaya is not a real big mountain. It's about 6,000 feet. We'd been there once, and we hadn't really totally explored the mountain, but it was, you know, certainly a good place for us to go with the family. I thought, well, what a great time for my sons and I to get some bonding time.
Get out of it.
Matthew's got a quiet strength and heart of gold. He just cares about people. Mark's always been, you know, a very curious one, very adventurous.
After lunch, Mike and Matthew head back up the mountain, while Mark stays behind to ski with his friends.
Matthew and I were together, and Mark and his friends gonna go on their own for a while.
He said that him and Matt were gonna ski together, and that was the last time I saw him that day.
The mountain of Kartal Kaya is rarely welcoming, and by the time Mike and Matthew reach the top of the lift, a solid bank of fog has rolled in from the Black Sea. Locals call it the Mister. It produces a whiteout, and the ski slope back down to the resort is no longer visible.
There's two different paths you could take, the left or the right.
It just was getting harder and harder to keep sight of the trail.
Snow just kept getting thicker and thicker. We started to realize that no one skied down this hill in quite some time.
We've lost the lift.
I think it's over there.
We'll have to sidestep up the slope.
Realizing that they've skied down the wrong way, Mike and Matthew start climbing back up the hill. Despite the conditions, a search and rescue team is sent onto the mountain.
As I was looking out the window, kind of hoping I would see them coming down the mountain, I could hear the loudspeakers playing Turkish pop music on all the ski runs, hoping that my dad and brother would hear it and find the hotel.
By now it's late into the night, and you know, I'm just thinking, you know, how is Mary gonna take this news that we haven't come back? As we're settling in, I'm formulating a plan. What am I gonna do tomorrow? Because tomorrow's got to go on, and we've got to get ourselves out of this mess.
Mike and Matthew have passed a night on the mountain in a howling blizzard and freezing temperatures. Mike had decided they should stay put. As dawn breaks, their survival depends on being found soon. After an uncomfortable night, Matthew awakes cold, wet, and still exhausted.
We woke up kind of groggy that morning. I think because we had slept off and on the whole night. In the daylight, I was able to see there was like an opening in the rock.
Mike's survival training kicks in. When lost, find shelter and stay where you are.
It's a cave. We've been sitting on top of it all night.
As dawn breaks on the mountain, the storm clears.
Don't worry. Thanks. I will. See you, Mark.
Snowplows have opened the way to the resort, and Mark is able to get home.
I'm
keeping sane because I'm thinking Mike would never leave Matthew. I'm thinking he's had survival training.
Dad, I'm real hungry.
I'm realizing they probably don't have food, but maybe some of the snacks they took, they just had stuffed in their pockets.
It's our last one. Do you hear that?
What?
Helicopter.
Come on, Dad. Please go. I can see him.
All of a sudden, a shot of adrenaline took over, and all action again. Scrambled outside, and to my amazement, this helicopter just literally seemed like it was flying out of the mist. But as suddenly as this helicopter appeared out of the mist, it was gone. And it was almost a hopeless case. I just was too far down into this little valley to be seen. The good news was I knew they were looking, and I knew they would be back.
The search is still concentrated around the resort. Mike and Matthew are miles away on the other side of the mountain.
It's the fourth day, and all of a sudden we heard this helicopter sound.
Helicopter.
I didn't have much time to get outside. I didn't even have time to put my boots on. It came seemingly out of nowhere. I could even see the American flag painted on the side. It just flew right over the top of us and was gone. It never made 2 passes.
Mike realizes that the helicopters aren't looking for them where they are. They're flying over on their way to a search grid on the other side of the mountain.
My hopes took a plunge into despair.
Mike's survival strategy is to wait to be found. He thinks the ski resort, and therefore rescue, is close by and visible from the top of the ridge. But as the days pass, his and Matthew's conditions are deteriorating.
I kind of did this morbid calculation that, it'd be better to come back without my feet than not at all. I kept putting myself in that situation where I've left a family behind without a father. I just couldn't face the reality of that. I found myself looking at Matthew as he lay there sleeping, and he just looked so peaceful, almost like a little angel as he lay there sleeping, and I became aware of just how fragile he was.
Silence on the mountain. There's been no sign of rescue helicopters for days. Mike realizes that staying put is not going to get them rescued. But Matthew can't move, and his condition is getting even worse.
I was not pleased with what I saw. Even more of this waxy gray flesh that was not good. As careful as I was being, it was still not enough.
How about that? Can you feel that?
No, I can't feel anything. A helicopter! Dad!
Sounds like a Huey. It's not worth it, son. It's too far away. Matthew, listen. I've seen some cabins I think I can get to. I'm just not sure I can leave you behind.
know what, Dad? Maybe you should go. Because if we stay here, they'll just be finding our bodies.
It was like he was giving me permission. Boy, I was really tired. I'd have to stop every 5 minutes just to catch my breath. It was a much more weakened state than I thought. If I could just get there, there would be people there waiting for me to send help back to my son. Well, as I get closer to this village, I'm looking for telephone lines, power lines, signs that there really are people there. I don't see smoke coming out of the chimneys. I don't see any snowmobiles. All I see is animal tracks. It's pretty obvious that there's nobody there. Two days had gone by, and I didn't know what kind of mental state he would be in, let alone his physical state. I had to let him go. I can't take care of him anymore. I just came to the thought that I don't know what I'd do if I had to go back and face Mary without Matthew with me. I'd run out of water. I grabbed a couple pots and pans, then crawled my way to the front door to just scoop some snow off the steps.
A band of loggers has been clearing the trail of fallen branches brought down by the snow, and by pure chance, they stumble on Mike.
There was a man at a shortwave radio, and they were telling me, well, we're in contact with these people that are out looking for your son. I knew that they were doing everything they could to go find him. By now, I mean, it's a sea of humanity. People are just flooding around this little cabin. And I can see the sea of people parting. And they're carrying this little package that was my son.
Hi, Dad.